Not every brand knows how to reissue a watch in a proper way. There are a lot of people who complain about lots of reissues out there being too large or not enough like the original model. Today we're taking a look at a watch that gets every detail right. It's basically a vintage watch that's been recreated in a modern style. This is from Nevada Grenchen. They are one of the best at reissuing watches, and the F77 is a great looking integrated bracelet sports watch that's been improved. So this is their Mark II, and I have one hands on. They've made some stone dials and they have some new weave dials as well. The stone dial that I have hands on today is their meteorite dial, and this is a very good looking watch. I'm very excited to show it to you guys. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the latest release from Nevada Grenchen, their F77 Mark II stone dial. The F77 from Nevada Grenchen is definitely a 70s inspired watch. Obviously F77, 77 in that name means 1977 when this watch was first introduced. This looks vintage, but it is definitely a modern watch. And this is a new version in celebration of their 100th anniversary. So it's been 100 years of Nevada Grenchen. This is a really good looking watch. You're getting a stone dial, so they came out with a few stone dials. This is the meteorite dial. Now from far away, this looks like a matte black dial, but close up, you can see that meteorite pattern. I think they darkened the meteorite for this watch, so it does go under the radar. This is not immediately a noticeable meteorite dial. It's an F77, so this is a really nicely made watch as well. All of Nevada Grenchen's watches are really nicely made. This one gets an integrated bracelet because it's an F77. You have that porthole style bezel, which obviously is inspired by other watches from the 1970s. You could see that. You have a very high boxed sapphire crystal. When you turn it on its side, you could see it looks like a vintage acrylic crystal. That's what they were going for. They want this watch to look vintage. However, like I said, it is a modern watch. Inside, you're getting a soap rod movement that is the P024, which is essentially an ETA clone, sort of like a Sellita SW200. Very reliable movement, and I see these in a lot of different watches now. Soap rod movements in general are very reliable and pretty much up to the same standard as Sellita and ETA movements. The dial is beautiful. You get up close, you can see that meteorite pattern. You also have applied indices. Those are kind of high off the dial. You have an applied logo right below the 12 o'clock position. It says Nevada right below that. Right above the 6 o'clock index, it says F77. Automatic, because this does get that automatic soap rod movement. Screwed in crown, screwed in case back. The case back is solid on this watch. You do not get to see the movement. You do get 100 meters of water resistance. So this is a true everyday sports watch. I think this watch is thin enough to be an everyday watch, like an everyday dress sports watch. Because you do get that 100 meters of water resistance, it can come on a strap or a bracelet. This is thin. It's around 12 millimeters thick. That's including the very, very boxed sapphire crystal. So really this wears almost like a 10.5 millimeter thick watch is what I would say. It's 38 millimeters spot on the case. It's slightly smaller at the bezel, but visually and on wrist, it wears like a 38 millimeter integrated bracelet watch. You have a lug to lug of around 46 millimeters at the case. If you're wearing it on a strap, it will wear close to that. On the bracelet, it wears slightly larger than that, so in the range of around 48 millimeters. The bracelet itself is a 3-link bracelet that integrates into the case itself, very different from any other integrated bracelet watch that you've seen. The reason for that is because you can use aftermarket straps with this setup. It might look a little bit weird because it would not line up with the lugs. So you could do it if you want to. It doesn't prevent you from doing it, but I do want to mention that. You have drilled lugs, so easy to swap between a strap and a bracelet. You have screwed links. You have a very nice clasp on here. There's brushing. The logo is embossed into it. There's Obviously some polishing there. You have a lot of micro adjust availability here. There is no on the fly micro adjust. So I wish that they would put a little bit of on the fly micro adjust on this watch in the future. I hope they do that. I know they do that for some of their other watches, but I think I know why they don't. The price on this is actually very reasonable considering that you're getting a meteorite dial. We'll talk about price in just a few seconds. However, with that being said, it is a really high quality bracelet. The bracelet feels great on here. The case is really nicely finished. You can see you have these little angles on the case. It's all polished on the sides. You have brushing on the top, and then this line of polish on the edge of the lug, which looks really good. Overall, these are very good looking watches and they wear really comfortably. Speaking of comfortable, this is probably the most comfortable 1,000 meter dive watch on the market. This is the Depth Master from Nevada Grenchen, and obviously it is a small, around 38 or 39 millimeter dive watch with 1,000 meters of water resistance. This is the orange dial. I got this maybe 2 years ago. I love this watch. I don't wear it enough. I think it's so cool. And there is the F77 Anniversary Edition with a stone dial on my 7.5-inch wrist, and I think it looks fantastic. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. This is a 38 millimeter watch with around 46 to 48 millimeter lug to lug, depending on where you measure it at the bracelet versus the case. And then you have a 12 millimeter thickness. That is including that extremely boxed sapphire crystal. 100 meters of water resistance, automatic SOPROD movement inside. Price on this watch is $1,560. I think that's a really good price because that also includes tariffs. You are getting a meteorite dial. This is a classic watch with a very classic design that looks and feels great. Nevada Grenchen in general, I think, do a fantastic job with their watches. I do wish that this had a little bit of on-the-fly micro adjust. Obviously, even at this price, I think it should have some on-the-fly micro adjust. That would be probably my only complaint though, because everything else here I think works. It looked great. There really isn't much lume here because this is somewhat of a dressy sports watch. Maybe a little bit of lume on the hands would have helped. There is lume behind each one of the indices, just a little dot, but I'm not going to show you a lume shot of it because there are no hours or minutes lume. The seconds are not lume. So technically, I think this is an unlumed watch. That's what I would call it because you really can't tell the time in the dark. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of Nevada Grenchen? What do you think of the F77 versus all the other offerings that are out there? There are a lot of integrated bracelet sports watches inspired by the 1970s, specifically from micro brands. But there is one huge difference between Nevada Grenchen and all of those micro brands. The ones that I talk about here on my channel included. This has a history. So this is a watch that existed in the 1970s, and this existed in the 1970s, and this is a reissue of that watch from a very storied brand, which is pretty cool, with 100 years of watchmaking under its belt. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. I'll add a link to this watch down in the description below. Definitely check it out if you are interested. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.